Hello and welcome to a Sophisticated Pairs video blog. My name is Erica, and today we are going to be talking about the alterations process with Comexim and Anna Pardal. Now, if you haven't seen any of my other videos or read any of the blogs I've written about these companies, let me give you a little background information. Comexim is a Polish company which specializes in making bras that have narrow underwires and deeper cups. Anna Pardal is actually a collaborative line that uses the same style bras as Comexim and uses their sewing team, but they have their own unique design aesthetic as well as their own fabrics. Now, as I mentioned, if you haven't seen the previous videos, I do recommend taking a pause and going back to look at some of those because I've done a lot of product reviews so you can get an idea about whether or not this brand would be ideal for you. Typically, I recommend it for women who have close-set breasts, who don't have a lot of tissue on the side of the body because the underwires are so narrow. If you frequently have problems with the underwires extending too far or the cups being too shallow, then maybe Comexim or Anna Pardal is something you should consider. Now, one of the reasons I really like the two brands is that they offer their customers alterations. And that's what the purpose of this video is today. I want to just discuss what alterations they offer and who may find them beneficial. So let's start with the first alteration, the height of the gore. Now, to help me out, I actually have a couple different samples to show you. The first bra I have here is the Comexim Arabella. This is in size 32HH, which is my size. I'll also be reviewing some of these bras as well as the ones with alterations later on, but for today I just kind of want to show you some of the bras and maybe try and get you to see some of the differences. So this is the original classic shape. Now, the classic shape consists of a lightly padded 3-section cup. They also have a half cup shape, which has vertical seaming, and some of these alterations can be performed on it as well. However, the half cup bra is a little bit more shallow overall. It's better for women that have less fullness in their tissue or shallower tissue. So I'm going to be showing you the classic shape today because this is the shape that works the best for me, and I have the altered bras that I can demonstrate for you. Okay, so one of the things that they will do is they will raise or lower the gore height. Let's start with raising the gore. So the Comexim classic shape in my size typically has around a 3-inch center gore, and that's pretty low for a double H cup. Most of the time it's hard to find something that's under 4 inches, and 4 inches is considered pretty low. So that's a nice feature. It does create more of a plunging neckline, and I find that this is really helpful, particularly if you do have close-set breasts or you have even a little bit of breast tissue that connects between, because it doesn't put as much pressure on it. When I was wearing other UK brands, I would find at the end of the day I had red marks on actual tissue towards the center. With Comexim and Anna Pardal, I do not have this problem. However, raising the gore can actually be beneficial. It's typically raised anywhere from 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, although I understand you can also request a little higher. And what this does is it actually allows breast tissue to be contained a little bit better. If you have very soft tissue and you find that your breast tissue just spills forward in the classic shape, raising the center gore can help alleviate this problem. It does also help particularly with maybe creating more of a balcony shape rather than the plunge shape that they have. However, there is a downside. If you have very firm breast tissue, the center gore sometimes will not tack, particularly because the underwires that Comexim and Anna Pardal use are a little softer than what you find with, say, a company like Panache. So if you raise that center gore and you have a lot of heavy, dense tissue towards the front, it's going to make it more difficult for the center gore to lay flat, which is what I mean by tacking. A lot of times it'll either soft tack, which is kind of gently touching, or it'll come away from the body a little bit. So keep that in mind as well. Now, I do have an example of the raised gore. This is the Anna Pardal Beatrix, also in the 32HH, and this one has had the gore raised by about 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to grab the Arabella bra and show you kind of the difference there. Okay, so hopefully you can see this in the video. We have quite a difference here between where the center gore and the red ends, on the red bra, the Arabella, and then where the Beatrix ends. I also will have pictures of this on the blog post, which is linked in the comment section, so I definitely recommend checking that out as well in case you want to see a little bit more detail to how the fit changes. This is kind of the best I can do at the moment. But the raised gore here, for me, I found that it keeps things a little bit more secure. It doesn't come up too high still, but as I mentioned, particularly in some of the higher cup sizes or with women who have very firm tissue towards the center, the raised gore option may not work for you. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, we can also lower the gore. Now this is Felicity, also from the Anna Pardal collection and also a size 32 double H. Now this one has had the gore lowered by I think it's about ½ an inch. And this is a nice option, as I said, for women who have that fuller tissue, because sometimes even in the classic shape, the center gore will not tack properly. If Comexim decides to use some heavier underwires for some of the larger cup sizes or in just some of the styles in general, then this may not be as much of an issue. But I find that if you're very full towards the center, reducing the gore can actually improve the overall fit. Not to mention, sometimes it's nice to have something that's even just a little bit lower in the neckline, either for certain tops. Some women have very sensitive sternums and they need something that's going to be even lower than what Comexim is already offering. So doing that lowered gore is a really nice feature. As I said, I'll show you this one with Arabella just so you can get an idea, but definitely check out the blog post that I have. Okay, so again, I hope you can kind of see this. We've definitely got about a ½ inch difference here between the Felicity and the original Arabella. So this can, again, make a big difference in how you improve the overall fit of a Comexim or an Anna Pardal bra. We're back with just Felicity again because I want to move on and talk about another alteration they offer. This is actually the reduced cup alteration. Now, this is good for women who have less fullness towards the top or maybe just a shorter overall breast. So if you have like higher set breasts or you just don't have as much vertical tissue, reducing the cup can help a lot. We found that particularly in higher cup sizes, because of the way that they're scaling the patterns at this time, that a reduced cup height can really improve the overall fit. But I want to come back to that because at the end of the video I have some additional information about alterations and future styles they're creating. But for the time being, let's just say that the reduced cup here is good for women who need a little bit of a shorter cup. The Comexim cup in general is pretty rounded and it can be very tall, which is not a big issue for women who have a lot of the upper fullness or who have more breast tissue towards the top or more breast tissue vertically. But for some women it's just too tall, and typically what happens is it'll fit everywhere else, particularly towards the center, but when we get to the strap area or towards this top part of the cup, it gapes. In particular with the larger cup sizes, it's really this section of the strap. It can actually even kind of pucker together. It's just a little bit too much extra cup, and that is something that they are working on. Now when they do a reduced cup height, they tend to take it off proportionally across the top. It's just this top section of the cup that's affected. It's not the lower section at all. And they're usually taking more towards this latter part, towards the closer to the strap. So I'm going to bring out the Arabella again and just show you exactly what I'm talking about here. So we're back with Arabella again, which Arabella has the classic cup shape, so this has not been altered in any way. And as you can see, there's definitely more Arabella cup here towards the top. It's not cut evenly, so it's not like they just took 1 inch completely across the top. There's less taken off towards the center and more taken off towards the strap, so it's almost like a triangular cut. And I think that this helps improve fit. A lot of times women are concerned that with the reduced cup height, it can make the cup itself smaller. This is a possibility, but I think that the way that they're accounting for the reduced cup height does minimize this risk, particularly because they are not removing as much material from the center. And the center is where you're really going to start to see issues if the cup is too small. Returning to Felicity, which has obviously had quite a few alterations. It has had the reduced gore, it's also had the reduced cup, but the last alteration it has had is the straps being moved in by 2 centimeters. One of the issues I hear quite frequently in the store, and it's true of any cup size, is that the straps are too wide. This is very true for women who have narrow shoulders or even have sloped shoulders. And in some cases, it's very difficult to find something that's going to fit. In particular with higher cup sizes, oftentimes when the bra is scaled, the manufacturers seem to think that the bigger your boobs get, the bigger your shoulders get, and we can just keep putting the strap further out. And that is not the case. And I feel like this is a good option here that Comexim offers. So this one has had the straps moved in by 2 centimeters. You can have them moved in a little bit further. 2 centimeters is a little bit less than 1 inch, but you can have them moved in a little bit more if that suits you. I think, first off, that this is great for women who need something that's going to sit closer to the neck. Women who have sloped shoulders, women who have narrow shoulders. This is great. I also think that sometimes in the higher cup sizes, moving the straps in 2 centimeters can really improve the overall fit because it changes where this little angle of cup is. And I think by moving it more inward, it alleviates some of that gaping issue I was mentioning before with the strap area. So that's a great option for you. It's very easy to do, and it does improve the fit. So to continue kind of demonstrating some of the differences here, I have Arabella again with Felicity, and as you can see, the red strap is ending where the black strap is beginning, and the black strap, of course, belongs to Felicity. So it is quite a substantial difference in where they've placed it, and as I mentioned, they can usually move it in a little further too. Returning to Beatrix, this bra has had a raised gore. It has the classic cup shape, so it hasn't had anything reduced here. It has the normal straps, but it does have another alteration we haven't discussed yet, and that is a wider arm and side. So another issue that we found with women who would otherwise fit Comexim is that sometimes the cup here on the side or the wing on the side is just a little too short for them, and they feel like they have skin or maybe a little tissue hanging over, and they want a smoother profile. So this bra here has been altered to take this into account. I'm not going to show it to you with Arabella because it's really hard to show. Even in the photographs, it was kind of difficult to demonstrate, but it does have this higher piece of material here, which is nice because, as I said, it contains breast tissue a little bit more. I'm particularly sensitive to any irritants that come up too high on the arm, and I found that even with the raised arm, it was still low enough to be comfortable. So if you found that Comexim was a great brand for you, but you weren't as crazy about the low sides, consider having the arm area raised. I also found this to be a popular alteration for women who are wearing 40+ band sizes because they typically want something that's going to be a little wider across the side. I'm a huge fan of having at least a little bit of a substantial wing and back because I feel like it disperses the weight of the breast across a larger surface area, so it takes some of the tension off your back and shoulders. I really enjoyed this alteration. I was a little bit skeptical. As I mentioned, I will be reviewing these more in depth, but I just wanted to make mention of that in passing. One of the final alterations that Comexim and Anna Pardal will do is adjust how many hook and eye closures are on the back of the bra. So if it's 3, you can reduce it to 2. If it's 2, you can take it to 3. They're even looking at doing 4 or 5 hooks. So that can vary depending on your personal preferences. I have quite a few customers who are very loyal to a 2 hook and eye closure bra. I have others that would prefer 3 or 4. So the fact that you can customize the bra to suit your personal needs is a great bonus feature here. The final thing that I want to talk to you about is their cup size expansion. This is sort of a corollary to the idea of the alterations. As many of you may know, Comexim and Anna Pardal have recently, within the last year, been working to expand the cup sizes that they offer. They have gone all the way up to 34 double K cups, they're looking at 40 double H's, and they would like to go even higher still. However, this is a little bit of uncharted territory for them, and they're working on ways to scale the patterns. One of the things that we've found, particularly in doing a lot of the orders, is that most of the alterations start to come about at that H cup mark and higher. H is sort of like a middle ground. Some people it's perfectly fine as is, but then other people, they really need to start customizing the bra a little bit better. So part of that reasoning is that they're working on the patterns. And some of the things that they're looking at doing is on some of the smaller bands and higher cups, introducing more hook and eye closures. They're looking at reducing the cup height overall with the classic shape in some of the higher cup sizes, moving the straps inward. For higher band sizes, they're looking at implementing that raised arm right off the bat. So there's a couple different things that they're hoping to work with to improve the fit in those sizes. So rather than just blindly scaling up a pattern to a size and hoping it's going to work, they're actually trying to take into account what is going to be best for that particular customer. And I think that's very admirable. To this effect, they are looking for feedback, especially if you've tried any of their bras and you're in size ranges that they have recently expanded to. Any and all feedback you can provide on the fit would be fantastic. They are looking to find the right mix of how to create the classic cup shape with the different sizes. So please, either here in the comment section of the video or on the original blog or even just on their Facebook page, our Facebook page, anywhere you can think to put it, please give your feedback to the brand. They are really interested in hearing what you have to say about their products, and they are going to take this into account. This is not something that is done in the lingerie industry very often. Most of the time, companies are more content to say, well, we'll get to it when we get to it, or, well, we don't do it because of this, and then they close the book on you. This company is not doing that. So if you are interested in having a direct impact on how these bras are going to fit and be manufactured in the future, now is your chance. It's a great opportunity. The final thing I want to mention is that Anna Pardal in particular is looking to have 4 basic styles that are a little bit different. The first is the classic shape, which will have the alterations and tweaks done in those higher cup sizes or higher band sizes, which is what I was just referring to. They're also looking at doing a half cup, which again, they can do some of the alterations on half cups as well. A long line bra, which I have received those and I will be reviewing some of them in the future. And last but not least, they're looking to create a 4th, as yet unknown style based on some of the alterations feedback they've been receiving. Now, this is not necessarily just for the higher cup sizes. So this is a chance if you're in, their standard size range and you find that you have to frequently use alterations to get a good fit, this is where you need to weigh in. So for example, if you're a 32G in Anna Pardal and you find that the raised gore reduced cup height works so much better for you, weigh in, again, in the comments, anywhere. This is definitely an exercise in trying to get as much feedback as we can. It will impact what's going to happen in the future, and I know that the brand itself will appreciate. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, please feel free to email me at sophisticatedpair@gmail.com. Don't forget to check out the other videos in our YouTube channel. And be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Pinterest, and watch the blog for the latest updates. Thank you.